Valve is officially phasing out the Steam Deck LCD, and if you've been wanting to buy one, it might already be too late. Welcome back to SteamFlow. If you want to stay up to date with everything Steam and Steam Deck related, make sure you're subscribed. Today we're going to talk about the Steam Deck LCD being sold out and no longer produced, a new Steam Deck client update, some specific changes to the Steam desktop client, and finally, the Steam Winter Sale. Without further ado, let's get into it. Valve has confirmed that the Steam Deck LCD 256GB model is no longer being produced. Once remaining stock sells out, it won't be restocked, and in the US it's already marked as sold out on the Steam store. Now going forward, Valve's official Steam Deck lineup is now focused entirely on the OLED. That means that the two options available are the 512GB Steam Deck OLED and the 1TB one. As a result, the starting price for a brand new Steam Deck is now $549 US. So why is Valve making this change? They haven't given a single official reason, but there are a few things that likely played a role here. The Steam Deck LCD originally launched back in 2022, and over the last few years, hardware costs, especially memory, have gone up across the industry. Supporting multiple screen types, multiple SKUs, and multiple supply chains adds cost and complexity, and Valve are already selling the Steam Deck at a loss. By moving fully to OLED, Valve simplifies manufacturing, simplifies support, and puts all of its focus on the newer model. And most importantly, this doesn't change anything for existing LCD owners. The Steam Deck LCD will still continue receiving the same updates. Now, the OLED does come with some clear upgrades. You get a larger 7.4-inch OLED display, 90Hz refresh rate, HDR support, better contrast and colors, and improved battery. But what doesn't really change is the raw performance. The CPU and GPU are largely the same, so games generally run very similarly to the LCD model. So while it's sad to see the OG go, it was kind of expected to happen at some point. This of course raises the barrier to entry in the Steam hardware ecosystem, but Valve is still selling refurbished decks if you want to pick up one at a lower price. Now let's move on to a new Steam Deck client update which brings some nice quality of life improvements. This is a stable branch update and it combines some better updates from the last 3 or 4 weeks. As always, I recommend actually waiting a couple of days before updating because this will definitely break some of your decky plugins. So look out for any reports of people having issues, wait a couple of days and then you can safely update. Now, one of the most noticeable changes has to do with the fact that you're now able to continue downloading games with the screen off. So when you put the deck to sleep, it will now prompt you about display off downloads. That's especially useful if you download games overnight or if you're on the OLED and have concerns about the screen being on and burning in. This was available on the beta for a couple of weeks and it has been working like a charm for me. It's one of the most requested features we have been asking for in the last years, and it's great that it's finally coming to the stable branch and pretty much every deck owner will be able to experience it. This update also fixes a handful of smaller issues. There is a fix for in-game purchase failures, news items not updating properly, occasional non-Steam browser windows opening after restarts. There's also fixes and improvements to Bluetooth pairing. An interesting update is that now if you try to connect an Xbox controller with outdated firmware, the Steam Deck will let you know instead of actually failing silently. You will have to use Windows and the Xbox app to update the controller before proceeding, but now at least you know why it's not working. Accessibility also gets a small but thoughtful update. The screen reader's stop talking button has been moved to X, which keeps quick access menu shortcuts working correctly when using external controllers, not just the Steam Deck ones. And on the social side, Steam now lets you report harassing or suspicious group chat messages directly from the chat window with the option to block or unfriend the person messaging you at the same time. One of the biggest changes in this update is to Steam input, and this applies to both Steam Deck and the desktop users. So Valve has officially promoted the newer gyro modes out of beta, making them the default. You now get more flexible gyro to joystick controls, new relative roll and pitch options, separate haptic effects for gyro activation and rotation, and a new invert input toggle for button activators. There are also fixes for controller profiles, including the DualSense Edge, the Xbox Xbox Elite controllers, and even the Nintendo Joy-Cons. If you like customizing your controls, this update gives you a lot more freedom. Now, Valve also released an update for the desktop client, and the biggest changes here is that Steam is now fully 64-bit on Windows 10 and Windows 11. If you're still on a 32-bit version of Windows, which I don't know why you would be, updates will continue until January 1st, 2026, but after that, you're on your own. For most desktop users, this isn't really a flashy update, but it's an important one. It improves long-term stability, performance, and sets a better foundation for future features and updates. The Steam desktop client also benefits from many of the same Steam input improvements, including support for Nintendo Switch controllers over USB and for GameCube adapters with Rumble. And the last bit of news, the Steam Winter Sale is now live, and also voting for the Steam Awards is now open. The sale runs from December 18th through January 5th, with thousands of games discounted across the store. The Steam Awards voting is open. There are new winter items in the Steam Point shop, and you can earn free stickers by running your discovery queue. I have already made a video covering 15 games I personally recommend that run great on the Steam Deck and are excellent deals during this sale. The video is linked on screen right now and in the description. Check it out, and please leave your recommendations for any good deals you might have found during this sale. I'd love to hear about it. So that's your latest Steam Deck and Steam news. Valve is simplifying the Steam Deck lineup, continuing to refine the software, and the winter sale is a great chance to build out your library. Let me know what you think about the OLED-only direction. Subscribe for more Steam and Steam Deck content. Thank you guys for watching, happy holidays, and I'll see you in the next video.